All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to Skybox Knoxville. My name is Rick. I'll be helping out with our boss ATV crew here and getting them introduced and getting the game started here for the 2022 preseason show. Ladies and gentlemen, I certainly want to welcome our VFL, Jabari Juice Davis, sitting right over here on our left-hand side. Man, in case you forgot, let me just remind you of his illustrious career, which is going to be displayed up here on the TV screen behind me. The man with just a house going through there. Look at that. Scores every time. This is when you beat Florida. Just let you know. When you said that you were going to call smack to him. This is it right here. Look. Make sure you see it. He still makes it. Yeah, I just wanted to show that to you. So you remember before anything happens later on. If you forget. All right, in the meantime, let me go ahead and introduce our Vols ATV crew sitting here with me as well. First time they have ever been in public together in the same location. So first I want to welcome in the middle here, holding things down, Low, sitting right here. We also want to welcome Alex all the way up from pretty much Miami down here. We also want to welcome Drew, who's sitting in the middle here. He's also Rick Barnes' biggest fan. He signed his basket for you. So he came in, you got something to dab his face with. And as well, we want to welcome the birthday boy, the legend himself, 22 years old today, Brendo, sitting right up here in the front too as well. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Vols ATV. We're going to let them take it away with this year's prediction.
All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Let me thank Skybox for letting us host this event. Definitely want to go ahead and turn it over to Juice real quick. Let him introduce himself again, follow up with that little nice video, and let him say a few words before you get started.
I'm just glad to be here. What a beautiful crowd we got tonight. So I just appreciate you guys having me out. I wasn't doing anything this afternoon. She had already contacted me about 2 months ago. So I put this in my schedule so I can be there and support her. This is my first time meeting all of you guys. So thank you guys for having me out as well. The thing about Lorraine is that, we kind of connected last year on Twitter and some tailgates and things like that. And she was always very supportive to me. I had a few different events going on during the season. I was selling our Legends of Tennessee cigars, just hanging out with people and things like that. So she was always really cool, up to be, great personality, great spirit, and I'm very supportive. So I'm the type of guy, when you support me and help me build my brand and bring, money to my business and help me with what I do with my organization and other business ventures that I got, I'm very supportive to you. So when she reached out to me about doing this, I'm a big believer to support those that support you. So I put this in my schedule to support her, all the people, and have a great kickoff event before the season starts. It's very rare that we get all, Tennessee fans together before we kick off the event. I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of questions, you got a lot of concerns, and you guys are very excited about the season. So anytime I can talk Tennessee football and be around the fans, engage with you guys and have fun, get a few drinks, talk trash, and build some excitement about the season, I'm all for it. So thank you guys for coming out. Appreciate it. I'm pretty sure that we'll do some more events as well. So my teammate Troy Fleming wanted to come, but he forgot that he had a football game. Unfortunately, this is the kickoff of Friday night football in the state of Tennessee. So next time we do something, we'll just have to plan it a little better, and I can get some guys to come out, some former guys and some current guys as well. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you again, man.
Hell of an intro, Juice. I've loved being your friend. You're an awesome guy. Always have everything going on. Legends of Tennessee, of course. Very good to support that nonprofit organization. So thank you so much for coming out. Troy did send his apologies.
He did?
So he did.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, he did. I was like, I respect that,
It's awesome.
Awesome guy. So next time
We'll get him up.
all right. So yeah, we've got Alex. Just met Alex for the first time today in person, so that's pretty cool. Drew and I have been holding the fort down here in Knoxville. We got Brando. Happy birthday to Brando, 22, out of Nash, Vegas. And we're gonna get started. So we're gonna roll right into predictions. We've got September 1st, Ball State, 13 days away. Everyone is so excited. Thursday night game. Ball State averaged 24 points per game on offense last season. So I think they will get some points on the board, but obviously I'm just going to go ahead and say Tennessee wins. But I am going to give them like 10 points. So if I'm rolling a score out, I'm going to say 59-10 Tennessee. Just give them a couple points. Let the other guys, the freshies, and everyone get in there.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of.
Yeah, I pretty much agree everywhere there. Ball State 4-4 last year on their fourth season. Had some problems in the MAC. Georgia State, they were a factor for them. Obviously, that same team was a factor for us a couple years back, but this is obviously a different program. Year one, Hendon Hooker starting this year instead of last year. Full go in the system. Year two around, I think this team kind of shapes up and, goes out there and gets a dominant win, at least 50-plus points against the MAC team that, is getting their first taste of an SEC opponent. And I feel bad for Ball State that they have to be in line with what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a much better football team than Bowling Green was last year. They went 6-7, did play in a bowl game. Brand new quarterback, fifth-year senior John Paddock, who's only thrown less than 200 yards his entire career at Ball State. But I think given the talent and opening up the playbook for Heupel and these guys, I got Vols winning by at least 5 touchdowns, and I think they'll cover the spread as well.
What's your score?
49-10.
All right.
Juice
up on the mic.
Prediction on the game or the season?
We're going game by game.
Oh, game
so
by
breaking
game.
it down.
Okay.
Get in the program.
Treat Ball State like Ball State. Put up a nifty 50. How they play. Let's see what these freshmen can do.
Yeah, that's nice.
Let's get the game over with by the second quarter. Let the freshmen play third and fourth quarter. We can see the future for the next 3 or 4 years. So I say at least, let's put up 50, 60 points and get ready to focus on week 2. Now, Ball State, man, you can't take any team like we all learned that from Georgia State.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing about football. You can't never underestimate your opponent. So I think we're a much better football team and a much better coach football team under Coach Heupel. So we won't see that Georgia State Jeremy Pruitt embarrassment like we had. That was the worst thing that ever happened in the Tennessee football program since I've been around. It's starting the season. So, but I think we're a much better football program, much better team. We'll do Ball State like we need to do them and get ready for the next couple games.
Go ahead and underline the words better coach and embarrassment, because that's kind of what Pruitt was to us. We didn't know that at the time, but then he came out to be that. Also, let me go back to Brandon. I didn't get your score. I need your score.
Oh, my score?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I obviously think it seemed like Ball State, obviously, probably like 59-10, maybe 1 touchdown against like a third-string defense and guys like there.
So much score.
I don't see, like last year, Missouri put up 62 on them. First game of the year, not going to put everything out there. So I think 59-10 is kind of reasonable. And then also, giving it back to Juice, talking on the young running backs, you obviously know what Jabari Small has. You know what a guy like Jalen Wright put out there last year. But you think of guys like Dylan Sampson, Justin Williams-Thomas, guys, have that it factor, have the body, and have everything, all the hype around. What do you think of guys like that, stepping in? That's all.
I think Ball State, we can really show their potential. They're excited to see those 2 freshman running backs have a very successful season when they get the opportunities to. We need a compliment back next to Jabari Small. I'm a big Jabari Small fan. And playing in the SEC, you got to have 2 or 3 running backs that can carry the load. Because when you get to week 5, week 6, and your body's a little banged up, and you're playing in the SEC schedule, playing against some real tough competition. So that's where he's going to need those breaks. You know, he's going to need that other running back to come in and pound the rock as well. But Ball State, we'll see some flashes of what those guys can do. I've heard that Dylan Sanford has had a really great camp, had a really great scrimmage, and I'm showing a lot of signs that he can be that number 2 guy. That can take the football to the next level and create those explosive plays once he passes out of scrimmage. So I'm excited. As a former running back, I'm always cheering for the next great running back to take us to that next level. So I think Jabari Small can finally put together that full complete season. He's going to be the man this year, and as long as he can stay healthy, I think we're looking at a 1,000-yard rush.
And even behind him, we have J.J. Dixon that just came in. We still got Dylan Sampson, running back that Brandon was talking about. A lot of excitement at the position where we thought we might be a little bit struggling after Tyron Evans left, but now there's a ton of experience coming in, even youth, a lot of talent back there. I'm going to keep it short, too. Yeah, Ball State went 6-7 last season, 4-4 in conference. Lost their starting quarterback, wide receiver, 2 linebackers, and safety. They did rank 118 in offense and 126 in defense. And then they lost their 6 of 8 snap leaders at linebacker, their top 3 D-backs, and 2 of their top 3 offensive linemen. So Rodney Gardner and company should have a time in the backfield, Hooker and Tillman, and that whole offense should just get loose early and often. And I got 45-14 or 49-14 Tennessee.
All right. I still think that's a little bit low on our end, but I'll accept it. So I know, I just realized that. All right, so we're 1-0. Everyone across the panel has said 1-0 at this point, but we're rolling into Pitt. I think personally this is the most important game to set the tone of the entire season, but I'm so sick of the national media hyping up Pitt because they've lost Kenny Pickett. The depth on the O-line is gone. They had a ton of 6-year seniors, COVID seniors, and I'm just kind of sick of them being so hyped up. Hooker is starting this time. We're a much better football team. We're playing away, so I will factor that in, and I think Pitt will still get some scores, but I'm rolling with Tennessee wins 42-24.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. Obviously, last year,
Mark Whipple, the OC at Pitt, he leaves for Nebraska. Kenny Pickett, he's no longer there. And then the big story on the offseason was Jordan Addison kind of getting poached by USC with that big NIL.
It's not going to be the same Pitt team we saw, but I'm also not mimicking what Pitt has on defense just because Narduzzi and Heupel met, I think, 5 times now when Heupel's at UCF and all these opponents. So kind of has his number knows the offense, but I also think Tennessee has more weapons this year. And Juice probably agreed that the running game this year will be key, setting up the offense. He kind of touched on it, but I think the running back should be super key. Because everywhere Heupel's kind of been, they have over 50, 60 carries apiece. So having multiple guys, fresh legs like that, open up the passing game for a guy like him if he gets eligible. Cedric Tillman, obviously a free group in the crowd and free important. But other than that, the running game is going to open up the offense, and I think that's where he's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think both of you guys need to slowly roll over here, underestimating Pitt, all right? And the reason so is because, I know they lost Kenny Pickett and James Adams. Still a team as defending ACC champs. Their defensive line, which is returning 2 all-SEC defensive edge rushers, finished 2nd in the nation in sacks and 5th in tackle for losses. And a lot of people forget is that Kenny Pickett in his first 4 years only threw 39 touchdowns when he was at Pitt. Keaton Slovis has already thrown 58 touchdowns in 27 games for USC. I'm not saying Pickett like he has the talent to pass the better than Kenny Pickett. I think this is going to be a much closer football game. However, I think the Vols are finally going to get that edge over Pitt and be able to get a win in Pittsburgh 44-38.
That's close.
3-point favorites.
Juice you up.
I think without Kenny Pickett, you're right. Become a very non-explosive offense from what I've seen and from what I heard about. I think we need this. We need a big on the road win. Man, when was the last time we had a really big on the road win? Against an opponent.
We don't count Kentucky.
Wasn't it?
Last time we had a technical difficulties here. Last time we had a Power 5 conference
On the road was 97 against UCLA.
Wow. Yeah, so we need this, man. I definitely think Pitt last year, was that when we saw
That's when Milton started the game.
start of the Hendon Hooker
Yeah.
era? You know,
Yeah, he didn't start that game.
just imagine if he started that game. You know, what we would be in, how much better he would have played. So I definitely think with our offense now being loaded as we are, we're much more mentally focused and we have more confidence on that road. Hendon Hooker has already said that this is his team. I believe in that guy, just like I believe in my former quarterbacks. But I mean, I see that swagger, see that confidence in him. I mean, see it in his eyes. I mean, he won't let that happen. So I'm very, very, very confident in that guy that we're gonna go down to Pittsburgh and get a big win and get ready for the Gators.
Drew, I'm with you. I don't think Pitt is a team to slouch at. Slavis threw for 8,000 yards, 60 touchdowns in 3 seasons. Granted, half of that came in his first season, and then he ended up losing his job later on. So he may still have it. He has it somewhere, but he's been losing it lately. They do lose Jordan Addison, but they still have Jared Wayne, and then they actually bring in, funny enough, Akron transfer and freshman All-American Kanata Mumpfield, and both of them combined for 1,300 yards and 14 TDs. So they do still have production at receiver, and they do have a good front line with 6 All-ACC selections on that defense. They return all 5 offensive linemen, but apparently their secondary is supposed to look like Swiss cheese, and we made it look like that last season. I think this game is similar to last season, where we jump out early, but we actually close this one out. I say that we win 35-31.
Y'all have it way closer. I don't know why. I don't think he has anyone to really throw to. I mean, at least we all think that we're going to win on the road, which would be massive. Like you said, 97. So that'd be a huge road win. But do you have anything else to add?
No, I just know that Pitt has said, like in their press conference, they're going to go more run heavy than they did last year. And like that all in all to me is just kind of saying that, they're going to try to tire out our defense that multiple teams kind of try to do to our offense. But I don't think the weapons are there at wide receiver. I don't think that, Keaton Slavis going from the Pac-12 to the ACC, like I think the ACC is kind of harder competition than on the coast, West Coast, in my respectful opinion. But I just don't see it, being able to run on us when we know they're going to be able to run the ball. And you have Jeremy Banks, Aaron Beasley, 2 guys experienced at linebacker there to, ready for that. So I think Tennessee wins that game like 42-24.
This is ridiculous. Like
Literally,
we're not beating them by 3 touchdowns. Like we're
Winning this game. Like, I'm not arguing that, but a quarterback can change in a system. Hendon Hooker is a perfect example of that. A guy that was very mediocre at Virginia Tech that wound up being a star for us last year. A change in the system and a different atmosphere can work wonders for a quarterback. So we're still winning this game, but quit this shenanigans talk that we're winning by 3 touchdowns. Like, this is foolish.
I'm just going to take a moment to acknowledge that Brando keeps copying my score predictions, and I think he's cheating and looking at my notes. I just want to make that clear. That's why I'm glad I'm going first.
We do got to move on to the next game, but I will say Narduzzi did make Nathan Peterman get drafted.
Exactly.
So he went up there and turned out to be kind of solid. I agree with you, though. Slavis could be good. It just depends on if he puts it all together.
Exactly.
All right. So, again, everyone here is in unison. We think Vols win their first 2 games. We're rolling into Akron at home. I don't even know. I'm not even going to lie. This sounds bad because I'm overlooking an opponent, but I don't even know where they're at or what they're doing.
They're in
I'm
Ohio.
just saying, okay, great. Thank you, Drew. Tennessee wins 55-10.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree there. That's definitely another
This game originally on the year was scheduled to be the Army game, and Tennessee kind of, a second year under Josh Heupel, triple offense, a brand new team kind of getting used to that. You know how the run is, people trying to tire out the run. Imagine a triple offense team of people abusing the run, meant to do it like a team like Army. So I'm kind of glad we switched to Akron. Gets an easy game before Florida, the big game in Knoxville. I think Tennessee definitely takes that game, like 56-13, maybe 2 touchdowns, gets used. Get some, younger guys in there, and then ready for the first big opponent, the first SEC game, and that's when the Gators roll to town. So definitely think Tennessee gets to win there.
Like I said, versus Ball State, treat Akron like Akron. Akron didn't win a game like 2 years ago, wasn't
Yeah, they went 1-11.
They won 3 games in 3 seasons.
it? Man,
2 of the
3 games, 3
we
seasons.
don't put up 60, 70 points.
Man.
50, 70 to 13.
75.
I mean, hey, make a statement before we play in the SEC schedule. So, no teams like that, man. You know, you can't, like I said, underestimate teams because they come up here. That's their Super Bowl. You know, that's their draft tape. A lot of those teams come up here, and that's what they use to evaluate themselves and trying to get to the next level. But you can't let that happen. Like I said, much better coach football team than we have in the last couple of years. So we'll do what we need to do. We'll see some young guys play, show some flashes of some greatness going into the Florida week. So very, very confident being undefeated going into Florida and after Florida.
Not trying to sound disrespectful at all, but this is a terrible football program.
7 straight losing seasons, finished 2-10 last year. Now they do have Joe Moorhead, who used to be Mississippi State's head coach, as their head coach now, which would be good. He has SEC experience, but I got Vols winning 63-7.
Oh,
Honestly,
I like it.
honestly, Drew, you just hit on everything I had to say. They went 2-10, 1-7 in conference. Hired Joe Moorhead in this offseason, went 52-25 in 7 seasons. Haven't had a winning season since 2015. And like we just said, they lost their top receiver to Pitt. Offensive line gave up the most sacks last season, so Gardner again should have a fun time in the backfield. Balls went easy. I got them 56-17.
I like it. And everyone is in unison probably until this
63-7.
4th game. The Gator Killer himself is here. So Florida, September 24th, Florida in Neyland. All of us have Tennessee going 3-0 in the Florida week at this point. All the momentum is in our direction, but we haven't knocked off any huge opponent. I mean, you could count Pitt as a big opponent-ish, but Florida's huge. I think it's a weird game, super weird score. But I just think we're more talented as a team, and I think this team can get it done. I think Coach Heupel will get it done. I'm going, and Neyland is going to be out of control that day. There's so much popping off that day. I do want Juice to go next just because he's that guy. So, I mean, I wanted to make that clear. But I have Tennessee winning 34-24 in Neyland.
I like that. Of course, over the last couple of years, I always had us winning against Florida. If you look at the last couple of games, it's always been close. You know, I've had my heart broken plenty of times watching that game because I know how special that game is for us competing for an SEC championship. That was always the number one goal. And Coach Fulmer preached to us, you know, once you beat Florida, then you can control your own destiny and get to Atlanta. Once we get to Atlanta, bam, we handle the SEC championship business. We can get into a, national championship bowl game, which was, the next goal. And after that, play in a quality elite BCS bowl. So we still have our respect and still make the season meaningful. But I've been feeling more confident about this Florida game than I have in the last couple of years. And one thing that, like I mentioned, a very well-coached football team. A coach that's going to coach to win. It's going to do everything in his willpower to get these guys ready to play that game. A coach that has played in big games as well. So he understands the magnitude of this type of football game and what it stands for and what this fan base needs and what this city needs and this state needs to get things turned around. Like I said, I'm excited about it. Very confident. I like that score low, what you said. Our offense should be unstoppable. With the experience that we had, and look at last year's game, look at all those explosive plays that we made against that defense. And Florida's still trying to figure out who they are. offensively and defensively. I mean, we're one of the top 10 offenses in the country. So we got to go down there. We got to make a statement early. And the key to beating Florida and to beating LSU and beating these big-time opponents is that you got to strike early. You know, you got to take away that 12th man because you know the game is going to be wild and crazy. You got to shut that crowd up. If you shut that crowd up, if you strike early, if you punch them in the mouth quickly, then they're shocked and they got to figure out a way how to respond. So if we come down and if we do that, if we play Tennessee football, like I said, man, we will be celebrating. I will be celebrating. I mean, we had the best weekend that we had in years. And these Tennessee fans, you know, you guys are too young. How old are you?
25.
24.
25.
Y'all some babies, man.
He's the baby.
I'm 22 today.
See, y'all don't know about, I mean,
Only
you
one
know,
I
the
see.
98 year when they won, I was in high school. I was a sophomore. So I remember seeing that, you know. Then I came up during the 2000 year when the, you know, Jabari Gaffney dropped and saw how electric Knoxville was. That was really a big decision factor on me choosing Tennessee. Just being in that stadium and being around that atmosphere. In 2001, our big game, I was a freshman, seeing Travis Stevens go absolutely crazy down in the swamp, and I was able to compliment him, score 2 touchdowns, and come back to Knoxville. Who remembers the 2001 season when we beat Florida? When we came back here, we had that celebration at the airport, and we had that party at the Tom Black track. I mean, it was, we had 10, 15,000 people at the track. We had about 5,000 people at the airport.
God, that's
So
sick.
when you beat Florida, shit changes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these, you know, you guys haven't, I mean, you think you seen Knoxville get crazy and get turned up? You ain't seen it yet, man. It gets absolutely crazy. So I want y'all to experience that. I want these kids to experience that. You know, so bad. You know, I talked to them about it this offseason, working with the guys. They was at my camps and things like that, man. Just, you know, wanting them to get that feeling. You know, that's how I got my claim to fame. And I wasn't the greatest running back. We had so many great players, but against Florida, you know, I did my thing. And one reason I did my thing is because watching Travis Stevens, watching other guys, how they perform mentally, you know, how they prepare for that game, how we did all the extra stuff to get ready for Florida. So I'm excited about it. I'm confident about it, and more than I have in the last couple of years. And like I said, man, we'll get things changed around, and that's going to be the stamp in the era of what you're going to see with Coach Heupel.
So we can lock it in that you think that we pull it off this year.
I already told you.
All right.
If we don't, I'm just going to slap people.
I like it.
See, you know,
We do not condone violence on this show.
but I
This is all a
agree.
joke.
I agree with you that this will be one of the biggest weekends that Tennessee football has had in quite a long time. I mean, it's going to be 3-0 Tennessee.
College game day possibly being there, 2-1, maybe even a 3-0 Florida team. And like what you said, shit changes when we beat Florida, but guess what? Shit ain't changing that weekend, okay? And, you know, I have respect for you, Jabari, for your career at Tennessee, because you are the Gator Killer. There's no denying that. But there's a reason why there's a special legendary sense of yourself because of that, because we don't beat Florida all the time. And we ain't beating Florida this weekend. We've lost them, beat them one time since 2005. I've seen them beat them twice since I was 6, okay? And we always find a way to have one guy for Florida, whether if it's Emory Jones or Jeff Driscoll or whomever at quarterback, find a way to have a career day and have a Heisman performance against us every single season. I think we're going to start off early, but the biggest thing that I have as far as Tennessee needs to change is their second quarter offense, which struggled tremendously in the second quarter all of last season, only averaging a little bit under 8 points a game compared to averaging 14 points in the first quarter. And I think we're going to hit a mental block right there. And unfortunately, Vols get their first L of the season, was 31-28.
Well, the first season, man, it is a new offense. You know, people got to build chemistry. You know, that offense that we brought in is something new that we never really done because Pruitt was a defensive guy. You know, that fast tempo offense, I even struggled with that coaching my 7-on-7 program. You know, it takes a minute to get that programmed in your head. I mean, you got to get in tip-top shape. So with Hendon Hooker having a year under his belt, you know, with all the talent that we have coming back and how Florida hasn't, you know, they struggled, man, all season. They struggled. I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know where you're coming from, but I'm like, man, with the firepower that we have, with the confidence that we have in our quarterback, the amount of work we've been putting in, we got one of the best play callers in college football. I mean, we just gonna have to turn the football over so many times for us to, you know, for them to get that win. That's the only way I think. If we come out and make a lot of mistakes, put the football on the ground, we're playing undisciplined football, then I can see something. But I mean, just starting the game, I just can't see it. If you look at last year's film and you look at this year's film, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's your opinion.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, I mean, we've had plenty of years. We've had a quarterback that's had a couple years under the system, and Peyton Manning's a perfect example.
Well, we had a quarterback like
he's,
that.
He's.
He had a quarterback like that.
So we have, but we've had better quarterbacks, and they still can't beat Peyton Manning. I mean, are we like? I mean, I'm not trying to sound disrespectful, but I'm just speaking the facts here. All right, Jabari, I'm just speaking truth. Speaking truth over here.
Listen. Back then, man, we all know what Peyton was. Peyton is the poster boy, whatever. You know, I didn't even realize he didn't beat Florida until like 10 years ago, whatever. But I mean, with his success and him being able to move around the pocket and make explosive plays, Peyton was, you know, really one-dimensional. And he's not a where we're going with right now, what he can do with his feet, plays he can make when the pocket collapses, all the weapons that we have offensively. You know, even with some of these freshmen that I'm hearing about is out there balling their training camp. I just really can't see it, man. I really can't see it with the amount of talent that they have coming back and what we did last year. You know, I'm going to find you after Florida.
I hope you do.
Hey, every single week.
Of course.
But this Florida game, man, obviously it's back and forth. If you haven't watched the live show, this has been a problem for Drew for, 2 months. And, we're 2 weeks away from kickoff. So leading up to that, obviously Florida kind of dealt with a depth issue like we did last year. I think a first-year head coach, Billy Napier, hot on the recruiting trail, but, football, that's completely different. Year one, putting a product like that out in the field. I think the offense, Hendon Hooker, the offense kind of being identical, Neyland Stadium rocking. I don't think that Florida's going to be able to communicate early on in the game just because of how loud it's going to be in that game. I think, everyone kind of knows the environment is being set for come that fourth week. After we start off 3-0 and to start off 4-0 before we take that extra bye week, that would be huge. Jack Miller today, the backup quarterback for Anthony Richardson, going out with a thumb injury, probably out for a decent amount of time. No telling if Anthony Richardson is going to need to play in that game, having to play Utah and Kentucky and another opponent before he plays us coming into Neyland. So you really don't know what you're getting out of that Florida offense.
Like I said, week 4, week 5.
And I understand, Drew has problems sleeping at night thinking about Florida and, the past coach.
Pipe down.
It's a different time, Drew. And when you have a team that's going out there and, number one in the country in point differential in the first quarter, like Drew said, if you start off hot, 28-7 in the first quarter, I don't think that, Florida team's going to keep up, let alone want to play 4 or 3 more quarters in that football game. So I think Tennessee wins that game 35-24, and, it's a 2-score game. So
You said 35-24? Okay, cool. No, I think Florida has a very good chance to be 1-2 going into that game. They play, like you said, Brando, they play Utah, then they play Kentucky, then they play South Florida, a really challenging game there. But for a team that goes 1-2, comes into Neyland to a team that is probably going to be top 20 at that point, that place is going to be rocking, like y'all said. It's probably going to be our Smoky Gray game. I know that we're looking at trying to host a tailgate for that game. Hopefully I can make it up for that one. That's the plan.
We may do a
tailgate. The place is going to
too.
be wild. place is going to be wild. And like you said, if we jump on them early in that first quarter, they're going to still be figuring things out. They're going to be 1-2. People are going to be like, Billy, what you doing down there? We don't really know. So, I mean, I think we have a really good chance to jump on Florida this year. And if we jump on them early, then I think there's going to be blood in the water for the Vols. So I say that we win low, kind of like you said. I got 35-24 Vols win.
This is so ridiculous.
Let me remind you that
So
Florida can't even keep their running back talent in state. They lost their 5-star quarterback, Marcus Bowen, to UCF in the offseason. So when you think about that offense, Emory Jones being the starting quarterback at Arizona State, Anthony Richardson first season, and then the running back position, the wide receiver position in the SEC. Florida always had those killer guys. Jacob Copeland, he transferred out to Maryland. I think Billy Napier, he's doing good on the trail, but on the field it's going to take him a couple of years. And I just think if there's any year to get this rivalry back, it's this year. Going in and make a statement. Win this year 2 under Josh Heupel. Can kind of set the tone going forward. So.
They better not wear the smoky gray jerseys this game. Last time we won the smoky gray, we lost 42-0 to Georgia. So that's bad juju right there.
I would say, man, don't bring out smoky grays right now. But just come with
heated about it.
Man, just come with that clip loaded, ready to go. Like I said, I'm gonna be tailgating with somebody. Y'all got a tailgate. I may have a tailgate. I'm excited about the Florida game. Like I said, man, I seen the fire in the guys' eyes this offseason, talking about the Tennessee-Florida tradition and what we did to prepare for those games, for guys that won, just be those mentors for those guys. And like I said, I'm more confident than I've been in the last couple of years. And that game has always been close. It's never been a blowout against Florida over the last 6-7 years. And the last time we beat it was 2016. And from a guy that has won 3 games against Florida and 3 games versus Alabama, it hurts. It hurts to see us fall down so bad like that. And, to see people that are people in the early 20s like you guys did not even understand that era, when we were so dumb. And like I understand, from being a Florida fan, you can't talk shit. But you can't talk shit to me.
Thanks.
You can talk shit to somebody else.
Talk to me nice.
But like I said, man, I just want for those guys better than what they want for them, because I know this can change everything with us in this football program. And like I said, I'm confident we'll get it done. I believe in Coach Heupel. I believe in his offense. I believe in his defense. And I'll be looking for you after the game.
That's it. I like that. Drew's about to get his ass beat by Deuce. We'll put up the location at a later date for that. That'll be a cover charge fight. All right. So most of us, besides this one, have us at 4-0, rolling into our bye week, October 1st, which I think is huge. That's an early bye week for us. Oh man, I guess I can go first. So I was debating this so ridiculous because I was like, they have that bye week. They're going to be 4-0. They're going to beat Florida. We're rolling into Baton Rouge. They have all the momentum in the world at their backs. But when I went through this again, I was looking at my final prediction, and I just thought that sounds a little bit out of control, and I feel like something's going to have to slip just a little bit. So I'm saying I think that they played an awesome game. Goes to overtime. Tennessee loses to LSU 35-38. LSU takes the cake in Baton Rouge.
Ridiculous.
You know that this is going to be on the other audio, all this side shit talk, right?
That's gonna be great to listen to.
Okay. Anyways, so that's my prediction. We're going to turn it over to whoever's next besides Drew. He doesn't need to go next.
Mixed feelings for this game. Tennessee starting off 4-0 with the bye week, obviously huge. I had this scheduled as a loss going into my prediction, but when I think about it more and about the how huge a bye week is, kind of preparing for that next game. LSU obviously having to play the SEC opponent the week before we do. So I think honestly, that game, that week off is going to be huge. LSU, I think this is a win as long as it's not a 7 p.m. start. A night in Baton Rouge is hard to win in regardless of where the program's at. But when I look at LSU right now, I think their starting quarterback just walked away from football, and Max Johnson. Obviously, kind of question mark on their offense. Brian Kelly, kind of getting used to everything in the SEC. I don't know if he's SEC ready, Juice. Coming from Notre Dame in the SEC, going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that's kind of hard. And you look at the recruiting trail, it's already off to a bad start for Brian Kelly. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I don't know if you saw Juice, 4-star quarterback Jordan Matthews committed the good guys over the Tigers. So obviously, I think going to Baton Rouge, 4-0, 5-0. I think Tennessee wins that game, 34-24. I think LSU just has a lot of question marks on their program right now, and I think that offense, like Juice says, they're going to get off to an early roll, and it's kind of hard to keep up when you're down so much.
I definitely think I'm gonna wait back and see how we play these first couple games before I make a decision, and especially Florida. I mean, if we come out undefeated, let's keep our foot on the gas, man, and keep rolling. If you look at what happened 2016 against Florida and Georgia, and that steam that we had going into Texas A&M, man, we should have beat Texas A&M. Alvin Kamara had a fumble on that one run, and we gave him some plays defensively, but man, we punched him straight in the mouth on the road, and that's because of that confidence that we had previously, beating Georgia, beating Florida, and that momentum that we had, and that swagger that we had, that we can't be touched. So we can come out those next couple, we can come out those first couple games with that same type of energy and that mindset. And like you said, it depends on what time we play LSU. I don't think we play as well at night. I love night games, but then, once you experience night games, you're in the hotel all day, watching other games and eating and stretching and hanging out and just waiting until you get on the bus and get ready to go to the stadium. You can be not locked in like you need to be. But if we can play that game at 3:00, I think we'll have a great shot. Now, like I said, man, it depends on how we play those first couple games before I make my decision on the LSU game. But like I said, if we can play early and if we have that confidence, definitely we can go down there and shock the world.
I think this bye week in between Florida and LSU is huge for this team, because if it was back-to-back, I would have a little bit of hesitation about whether we'll be able to win this game. But I think we're going to be able to turn it around as far as mentally after that heartbreaking loss to Florida, of course. It's a first-year head coach with Brian Kelly, brand new system that these guys are going to have to learn, from the previous Edo, offensive schemes and systems that they had. Brand new quarterback with Jaden Daniels, who's talented, but, transitioning from the Pac-12 to the SEC is going to be a massive change for him. They've had a lot of struggle on the offensive line. In fact, I think they had the third worst offensive line in the SEC last year as far as sacks allowed. And I think if we could take advantage of their depth issues in the offensive line and, hold down their, wideouts as well and limit the defensive errors, which is a big problem that we had last year, specifically Jeremy Banks, I think Tennessee wins this game 38-30.
38-30.
That is shocking.
Way better than the Florida version.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
I think Emory Jones is a better quarterback than
Daniels. I think Arizona State wins that trade, in my personal opinion. I think it's easier to go from the SEC to the Pac-12 where Arizona State ends up, than to go from the Pac-12 to the SEC with Jaden Daniels being expected 5-star stargazer. If you look at the stars, to be the guy. I just don't think when he gets that first taste of SEC play, Juice, that that Tennessee defense is going to be
You talking about what game?
the LSU game. I don't think our defense is going to be a cupcake for that LSU offense year one, when Jaden Daniels doesn't know what he's getting into, going into the SEC, coming from Arizona State. It's different. So.
Like I said, man, it's
What?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good. I know y'all see me over here putting them down.
You can go, Alex. I was passing the mic.
But that's a big question mark, like he said, with our defense, and with a new quarterback. Why did LSU's quarterback, the current quarterback, saw that he just quit the team or something like that?
Because he played 4 games last year and he was absolutely terrible, and he was going to be a third-string quarterback.
Wow.
Not trying to be too harsh, of course.
Wow. But like I said, man, they're still going to struggle offensively. So it's good news for us that we get to go into this season knowing that they don't have an identity at quarterback. They're still going to struggle, still trying to get on their feet at their quarterback position. And, that's how you live or die in this conference with quarterback play. And you ain't got a quarterback running the show. We have already experienced that the last couple of years. Yeah. So it feels good as a Tennessee fan and as an alum to go into this season knowing who our quarterback is going to be and having success at quarterback, because that's very important. But in LSU's case, like I said, that is another factor that's leaning toward us, maybe shocking some people because of the question marks they're going to have. So, like I
I
said,
agree with that, but I also just want to point out, obviously Hendon is our quarterback, but we also, I think, for one, Milton has probably improved quite a bit over the past year, but also you have Taven behind him, too, which is also good. So we are not, lacking
exactly.
at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Like I said, Joe Milton, I think he's going to be very complimentary of Hilton. Of Hendon this year. And when the opportunities come, I think we'll see a better quarterback from Milton. He's got a year under his belt. And like you said, Taylor Jackson, he came to my football camp. He was lining it up. just throwing the football to the little kids. Man. But you see the talent there. But, next year is going to be a battle. It's going to be Nico, Taylor Jackson, and it's going to be Milton. So, very exciting as a fan and as an alum, because we got 3 quarterbacks that can run the show, that have all had experience and they can play really good football.
Brando, wait, I missed your score. What was it?
For the LSU game?
Yeah.
I think I had it at 34-24, 10-point victory for the Vols. Okay. I think Chase McGrath, that's his first big moment. Obviously, a touchdown, but to get that extra field goal. And I think the defense makes a late stop in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge, I think it's, the past few years, it's kind of, that team kind of shines against Tennessee, but this year Tennessee's going to stop that team from getting that breakout moment. And that'll be a huge win for the Vols.
So I'm with Lowe. I do think we can beat LSU. Obviously, I don't think there's a team on the schedule that we can't beat. But looking at 10-2 seems a little bit ambitious for us. If this game was played in Knoxville, I think it's about 70-30 we win. But now that it's in LSU,
Percentage-wise,
So what, bro? What do you say? I don't even know.
Come on,
quite out of control.
I'm not just like you.
We're talking about score, buddy.
Second.
You gotta lock it in.
Now that it's in LSU, I think it's 50-50. I really think this is a coin flip, honestly. And the last time we played at LSU, we put 13 men on the field to try to stop a goal line stand. Did we stop them? Yes.
That was the last time we played them? Wow.
Derek Dooley, baby. Orange pants.
2010.
On that stool.
That was 2010.
Yeah. Put 13 on to stop him, but that's okay.
I remember that game.
But no, I think we hit a block in the road where our offense sputters a little bit. We get a little bit too big for our britches, and I think that we lose 28-24 on the road.
All right. I feel it. Absolutely. Do I have one thing to win?
Yeah, they good too.
Hell yeah.
The wings. Oh, hell
I think
yeah.
they
I just
can
thought
win,
they chicken tender. They was
absolutely,
hella good.
They just got that voodoo magic down there, and I just don't know. I just think some is going to get kind of out of control, and unfortunately, they won't get the dub there. So I'm going to end my losing streak there. Say that we're 4-1, rolling into Alabama week. Alabama's coming to Neyland, coming to Knoxville, but I feel we would be ranked at this point if we beat Florida, beat Pitt. We're 4-1. I feel that way. So the momentum is there for us. We're in Neyland. It's at home. But Alabama is good. Just probably 2 out of reach. if I was to pick an upset, it wouldn't be this one. But I think we played respectable. And even last year, we played respectable up to a point. I mean, we were scoring. I saw Nick Saban toss a clipboard and throw his headset. I was like, hell yeah, like we're making him mad at something. I haven't seen that in years. So I think that we lose, Tennessee loses, but it's very respectable. A shocking score. I'm going with 41-31. People are probably like, all right, they played really well, better than we expected. Close game, still in it at the fourth, but can't get it done against Alabama.
Yeah, I kind of agree there. I'm not going to put the orange shade class on this.
I think Tennessee, they definitely dropped that game. But, I think about last year, what we did to that team, a first-year offense, seeing all the moments, Devontae Payton broke free, how Heupel was, kind of able to, put that offense out there, dice, roll the dice in that Bama defense. That was definitely huge. And then I think later in the year when Auburn, put Auburn to the test, Auburn went out there, almost beat Alabama. And I definitely think that, Tennessee in Neyland Stadium, it's going to be a closer game. I don't think we're there yet, but I definitely think this is definitely a team that can go out there and keep it into like a 2-score difference. And I think, Hendon Hooker, Brew McCoy having a guy on the other side of Cedric Tillman. I think Tennessee, maybe like 45-35, but definitely a huge important game, milestone for a lot of recruits seeing that, Tennessee can keep it close in the most important game of the year. Obviously, the Florida game would be huge, but, keeping it even close or almost pulling off the upset against Alabama in Neyland, I can't imagine what the atmosphere would be like walking out. So, 45-35 Bama, but that's it.
I respect that.
Respectful.
Yeah, 45,
35.
35.
Respectfully.
He came out really well last year. Shocked me, for us to strike first. Like I tell you, anytime you're on the road playing against the top tier team and competition, man, you got to strike early, get that crowd on it. But Bama is just Bama. They just got better players than what we have. The thing about Bama, man, they don't control our destiny. They're just Bama. It's a huge ego win. If you go down there and beat Bama, you think you're the biggest dude on campus. You think you can fight anybody. You think you can play against anybody. But like I said, man, it doesn't control what we need to control. Teams in our conference and teams that's going to be in our battle, getting to Atlanta, that's what we need to focus on. But we will make a statement. Like I said, I have my artillery ready. Like I said, I got my cigars ready.
Oh, let me see what you got.
Smoke them if you got 'em.
Just in case.
Smoke them if you got 'em.
There we go.
Legends
There
of
we go.
tennis.
I got the new black box. Let me see. Let me open it this time.
I was gonna say you gotta get that on.
Oh!
Yeah, just
Smoke them if you got 'em.
I got listen.
Got this black
So I'm
box.
keeping my cigars ready.
These cigars ready to rock and
Got the
roll.
Legends of Tennessee
Oh,
box.
with the VFL print on it?
Partnered with
VFL.
different cigar companies, man. We got the Legends of Tennessee. We're working on a new label right here. But really good smokes. If anybody's interested in buying their Victory cigar with the VFL logo on them, come holler at me. We have cigars for sale for $10. You won't get these anywhere except from me.
Juice.
I do
Davis.
attest that these are
Ro
quite
bought
good
some,
cigars.
her mom bought some. If you're smoking cigars in Tennessee, you need to come see me. Like I said, I got the VFL boxes. I got the Legends of Tennessee, Al Wilson. Everybody has these boxes, man. So get your Victory cigar. Like I said, we will beat somebody that's not expected for us to beat. And if you want to get a nice, cool smoke and chill while you're drinking your whiskey, drinking your
Yeah,
bourbon,
we got you one right there.
come holler at your boy
Got you
right
one
now.
right here, man.
I got cigars, I got
We
t-shirts.
got people lining
Hey,
up to buy some
I'm a
cigars.
walking pop-up shop. So I got everything. Like I said, you ain't gonna get these. This is our
I feel like this is a
thing.
live auction.
Only people that got these
If you
are
want something
former
up
players. So if you want to rock that VFL, man, come on.
What they going for, Juice?
I love this. We
He's
got
going
people
for that-
lining up over here in the bar.
That 10-10-10.
At 10.
Well, I'm glad that we are offering and selling Victory cigars over here. I think we're going to have to save those for a few more years when it comes to Alabama. So I'm glad that everyone here is back in reality with me. Back in reality. Unfortunately, Bama's just way too loaded with their front seven with Will Anderson, Toa Toa, and Byron Young and Dallas Turner returning. Not to mention they got Eli Riggs from LSU and Malachi Moore returning as well. I think this will be a close game. I think at the very end, though, we'll make a costly mistake in the fourth quarter and the ball's going down 42-28.
42-28. Yeah. All right. So my thing is apparently Bama was rebuilding last year and went 13-2, 7-1, and lost it playoff championship game. And the last person that I want to play is Nick Saban when he's pissed off because he didn't win the national championship the year before. So they're led by Bryce Young, who obviously won the Heisman. They bring back Will Anderson. They bring back some other linebacker.
Yeah, you know, right to the Hundo.
HT, I don't really know his name. But again, if they say they're on a revenge tour, I believe them. I'm gonna take their word for it. And I just say that the Vols lose 42-24.
All right, I got you. I just want to say, if anyone on the live feed is trying to give me these cigars, you better hurry the hell up, because Juice has got it racked up over here on the side. He's got hats, he's got his little
James, that was a very smart business move from your end
very
right there.
smart business model. He's got the hats over here. Yeah, the water
This is
bottle.
going all out.
This man is a hustler.
Good Lord.
They're bringing up the
Cash it out.
The biggest hustler in East Tennessee. So anybody that knows me knows I'm hustler again. 2 times in a row.
This man has made a quick Hundo.
Man, I keep, like, I'm a nonprofit director, so I always got a fundraiser. So I'm always, everything that we sell goes to our organization to help those families, to help those kids get involved into our camps and things like that. So I'm always trying to support everything. It doesn't go to me. It goes to our organization to make sure we keep kids off the streets and in football fields. Make sure that we're helping and that we're educating kids to be successful student athletes. So I'm always hustling. You can ask her. I got T-shirts, like I got the Gator Killer shirts. I got the female shirts.
Turn needs one.
I got the orange
Sure, it needs the
privilege.
female one.
The orange
Make
privilege.
sure that's clear.
Good one. Good.
I broke out the orange privilege this year. To do something different. People always talking shit about me, talking about I got an orange privilege. So I decided to do an orange privilege shirt, with the checkerboard stripe. So I got those available. I got Gator Killer shirts that sell out everywhere I go.
Today?
Yeah, I got Gator Killer shirts as well. So
Lying.
you need a shirt. I know we're on Twitter, so holler at me if you need a shirt. If you're here and you want a shirt, just come to me, come by.
He'll give the
Bring
shirt
your
off
money.
his back for $25.
Hey, Juice made a quick 100, and he's offering shirts too. Like y'all could have waited 15 seconds. I mean, got the shirts too. I know what I'm buying before I leave here tonight, but
I got plenty to buy, but we got way off track.
yeah,
This was-
Ronnie's yelling us
You know
behind the
what?
scenes. We
I
gotta.
freaking love this.
Oh,
I
my man,
love-
Hunter in the house.
There is a football game after the Alabama game. So.
Yeah, we're about halfway through that season. I still freaking love this. I love the sidetrack and the randomness. So
He got more.
he's got more. I'm going to the next game. We'll just let Juice do his sales pitch over here, and we'll just keep rolling. So this one's going to be quick anyways. UT Martin, October 22nd. Tennessee wins 62-3. I'm just giving them a courtesy field goal after our
Hey, Juice,
second
Juice.
string come out at
Juice.
the half, or maybe even the
Juice.
second quarter. Hell, I
Hey,
don't know.
put it in front of that camera right there.
Blowout win.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to be quick with this. UT Martin,
Ty Simpson's father. Obviously, an in-state opponent, I guess, but obviously we handle business like Drew said. Treat UT Martin like a UT Martin. This game shouldn't be close. I said 50, for Ball State. We should drop 70 points on this team. This isn't no ETSU with Vanderbilt last year. We're going to handle business and get it done. So I think, 63-0, Alex. Put it in the charts, 63-0.
You got it, dude.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I think this will be a good recovery game for Tennessee after a tough battle against Alabama.
I just want to
You
give
open up a door,
I
right?
mean, this UT Martin team did make the
man. I just want to give a shout out. I
Damn.
just want to give a shout out, man.
That man right there.
I'll give a shout out to my boy, man. That helped us out with this year. I know he just walked in the building. He don't want to be recognized, man, but he's one of the main brains behind Spire Sports and these NIL deals, man. So give a shout out to my dude right there.
That
I
man
ain't gonna
right
even
there.
say his name.
Hey, you a big round of applause.
Yeah, man, he came out
That's
to
awesome.
support me, and we appreciate that. So we ain't gonna say your name on the record.
Nah, yeah.
We'll keep the name out of this, but that is freaking awesome. We appreciate
Before we
it.
So before I lost track from Jabari there and interrupted me, I had the ball 20-56-0.
56.
That's weak. That is weak, bro.
Wait, hold on.
56 only?
I actually gave him a courtesy 10, so I actually said 56-10. Don't look at me like that. We gotta be different. We all can't agree here. Just, okay, go to the coal miners.
Trust me, I know we are not all agreeing.
Nah, yeah, I should definitely keep up with, the future of Tennessee. And obviously this year's a big thing covering the schedule. But when you look at the next class, what Tennessee's doing to the future in this game and day and age of college football, like you said, it's not going to be just off a relationship. It's going to be off also getting into that family door and locking down that relationship. And that man right there in front of us, he's the one responsible, getting that locked down, him showing up here for the brand. That's a huge W. I think everyone knows that, UT Martin is UT Martin. Obviously, this is another game that, a bye week in the schedule to get back on the right track. And, Tennessee's going to obviously, they should knock off these opponents and treat them, respectfully. But this is the obvious thing.
You got anything to say about UT Martin?
Probably say treat him like
I wish we would let them score a touchdown.
I wish we would get the ETSU Vanderbilt
Like I
treatment.
said, man, you gotta. I mean, that's a stat game. Stat game. When you come out the first 10, 15 minutes,
That's Hendon Hooker finalists.
blow it up,
Heisman finalists.
let your freshmen play, see what they can do, build your stats up going into, the remainder of the season. But teams like that, you just got to make a statement, let them know, hey, you're playing at that level for a reason. We're Tennessee for a reason. Much respect to everybody that plays college football and, whatever you're playing in. But things like that, man, you got to let it know in the first quarter and just get it over with. Sit down and watch your freshman play.
I like it a lot. All right, so if we're going with just most of the people up here's predictions, then we're rolling into Kentucky, October 29th.
We don't lose to Kentucky.
Halloween weekend. I have this at 6-1 at this point, per my predictions. Most of us are kind of sitting the same.
Unless you're Drew, yeah.
And Drew, you got
Wait,
one loss.
I thought you
You
had
got
us.
one loss.
I got 2 losses.
2 losses. All right, whatever.
Yeah,
we don't care what you have to say, Drew.
She has 2.
I'll be here
Yeah,
now.
no, well,
You
you
guys
got us
go
losing to
speak
LSU,
whatever
right?
nonsense. you
Oh,
speak
wait,
about
no,
right
you're
now, so.
right.
Damn,
I got LSU and Bama. You're right. All right, 2 losses. 2 losses. All right, everyone's sitting at 2 pretty much. But we're going into Kentucky. They're still being super hyped up, which I get it because all of these rankings and everything are based off of last season. We as a team and as a university are way improved from last season to this season, but that is not translated on the field yet. So I get why people are hyping Kentucky up. I think we're going to come up with a couple key stops on defense. I think that we have a good weekend prior against UC Martin. Halloween weekend, super fun weekend. I have Tennessee winning in Neyland, 45-28.
I mean, that's respectable for Kentucky. Obviously, you heard Lamonte say it last year. We don't lose to Kentucky. This administration doesn't, at least. I think, obviously, coming into Neyland, second-year offense, losing a lot of talent. Their running back room is kind of questionable with Chris Rodriguez. I mean, they added D. Beckwith from Tennessee. But let's be honest, I'm not kind of, respectful to my boy D, but I'm not, concerned about that. But I think, Kentucky has a lot of questions. Losing Wandale Robinson on the offense, losing that one guy, Javon Baker to Georgia Tech, that transfer wide receiver. I think they have a lot of questions. I mean, you count on Will Levis. I think we all kind of saw last year what kind of happens to Will Levis. He gets mad pretty quick, and if you get that angry face, Will Levis, I just don't think he has Wandell Robinson and Christian Rodriguez to bail him out this year. And it's a Neyland Stadium. I definitely see a 45, 31 victory, 2 touchdowns for the Vols. We don't lose to Kentucky, and this team, Marcus Stoops, he gets a year added to his contract for winning 6 games. That screams mediocrity. We all saw the drama that happened the last week in the Kentucky program. Basketball versus football, Calipari versus Stoops. I think that's a barn burner waiting to happen, and Tennessee wins that game.
All right, first of all, they are still Kentucky. I do agree. But
As Birdman would say, a little respect on their name more. Okay, this is a team that's had 2 10-win seasons in the last 4 years. Okay, they're not the same Kentucky that Jabari played, way back in the day, or even the same Kentucky 10 years ago. I mean, they are returning Will Levis, who's a highly rated quarterback, and while they did lose Wendell Robinson and Josh Alley both to the draft, they got Tavian Robinson from Virginia Tech and Javon Baxter from Alabama. So they still have some star wideouts that would make play. So they only have Tavon Robinson. But at the end of the day, this is still the same Kentucky team that comes up to Neyland, still a bunch of toothless yokels, a bunch of coal miners that have no business playing against us and come to Neyland. Vols getting that dub 49-30, easily.
49-30?
30.
I was finna say.
Not 3. We're not beating them by 46. No. 49-30.
Like you said, not taking a mistake delays. We don't lose in Kentucky. I don't care. And especially on the gridiron. We just don't lose Kentucky. Our athletes come out the womb better than Kentucky athletes. And you got to get that in your mindset. When you step on that field, we don't lose Kentucky. You got to finish the season out strong. We learned from previous years, 2016, if you don't finish the season out strong, bad things can happen. You start off strong, you make some adjustments. With teams like that, when it comes to recruiting especially, it's always a big lineman. It's always a big kid that we need that may hail from Kentucky, and to blow his mind out and to make him forget about Kentucky and think about Tennessee and wearing that orange, you put up the smoke against Kentucky. You put up 40, 50 points against Kentucky. We have the firepower to do that. Much respect to Coach Stoops and what he's done at Kentucky. He's had some really good football programs. He has some really good teams and things like that. They're going to always come out prepared. Like I said, this game makes their season. This is their highlight tape to get drafted, but we can't look at that. We need to put it in on this season. Looking at Vanderbilt, kill them, get ready for our bowl game. So, like I said, Kentucky, let's put up 40, 50 points. I say, we'll win. I don't really know what the score will be, but we'll be dominant. And let's look forward to our bowl game. Them, like I said, first quarter, get it over with.
They coal mine. We play football. 42-31. Vols win.
I'm going to give you gloves.
I like it a lot. I don't know. We have got more than Brandon.
I got you and whoever is going against you.
I'm not touching that.
Who's gonna hit the?
You gotta put gloves on.
Alex, you go ahead and
we are witnessing
Are we in the middle of the
Brandon's
show?
death.
They're in the middle of the
You're
show.
witnessing his death.
That's why we wanted to do it.
I said I do it for the brand, man.
He
It's
said
like
he's doing it for the brand.
What is that?
It's extra.
Take off our doors over here.
extra.
Take off our doors.
Just put your eyeballs
gotta go ahead and
all
LD.
out.
You gonna try and use?
What is it?
It's
The hottest
Why is
wing?
he wearing
Ha
gloves?
ha ha ha.
Because it's good. You can't touch anything, man.
Well, I mean,
It's
I
not
gotta
hot.
bite the touch of my hand, bro. Like, I just
Right.
can't.
I mean, that's the doctor in you.
Yeah, exactly. Y'all got milk.
Per the owner,
We drink.
You have to-
We drink
Now-
no battery with it.
Just go to Georgia.
now, Lo, per Omar in the back, he said you cannot touch anything besides the gloves and these wings. So if you need to use the bathroom before or after, don't touch it without washing your hands first. So
Good
you got
call,
6
Omar.
here,
Good call.
and you got a lot of friends here.
Like I said,
So
you're
if you
witnessing
find-
Brando's death.
If you find people who need
when I
to,
pee is what he said.
oh, it's gonna burn before that. If you need to find some people that would do this challenge with you, I brought you 8.
I'm dead as hell.
Respectfully, I'm not eating all of it by myself. Like, I'm gonna need somebody that, you know, eat like one or
No,
two.
I'm
Just
just
look at
gonna
them.
look at them. They look good as hell.
Look at him, Juice.
You about to mess my weekend
Yeah,
up.
yeah, look,
No,
that guy right there.
That's fake.
That guy right there said he did one with you. Drew? Drew.
Hey,
Yeah.
Drew said he
Drew
did
said he did
both.
one.
No, I did not.
Yes,
Drew literally said that's not even hot.
I brought
don't
you.
know gloves.
Hey, Drew,
Now,
do it for the
if you
brand
let me,
for me.
Drew, just to let you know, this is the ones that made the Marine platoon cry.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Great. All right, you
So
ready to rock and
Georgia-
roll, Brando?
so Georgia-
You know,
There you go. I brought you 12.
I'm gonna think about, you know, my decisions. Let's keep on going. You know,
Okay, we're gonna keep rolling through the predictions while these
mean, you do play
ridiculously
Georgia.
hot
God, they look
Glove
disturbing.
required,
I wish you could show the camera. I'm gonna
spicy wings are sitting in front of Brando. He's gonna stare at them and wait until they somehow don't cool down at all. And we're gonna roll into where are we at? Georgia away in Athens. I freak out at the possibility of us pulling off an upset here. I wish it could happen. I can see it happening. However, it's just so late in the season. I have no
Jabari
idea
has,
where we're at.
with Carolina Reaper stuff in it. Rolled in the triple X hot sauce that he just ate with no problem. With Carolina Reaper on the
I
outside.
think it's an awesome, rough game. Tennessee stays in it longer than expected. Tennessee loses probably, I don't know what the line's going to be betting wise, but I was losing 38 to 29. I have a feeling they might put the line at 13 or so. And I feel like this is just my personal opinion, but not telling you how to spend your money. But if they put that line at around 13, 14, I would bet that Tennessee covers.
Yeah, as Brando's eating himself to death over there. This is a big road game. Georgia's losing a lot of talent on defense, especially Trayvon Walker and Jordan Davis and Quay Walker, and even defense coordinator Dan Lanning to Oregon. But I think we're just still a couple of years away as far as the depth and talent goes. I think our starting 11 could be just as good as Georgia's, but we're just still not there yet. I think, we're going to make a couple of mistakes in the fourth quarter, and you got Dogs win 38-28.
So, Brando, you just keep eating, but I saw you take that bite, and honestly, it's scary because we all backed away at the same time.
Someone get this boy some milk or something.
You're holding it close.
Second, everything that Lowe said, I also agree with. I think we keep it close. I've been told to say that we beat Georgia. I just don't agree with that. I'm sorry. I do apologize. We lose 38-28. That's what I got. And they sweating on the other end, so we can just keep going if you want.
Does anyone?
We'll take scores and predictions.
Me and Juice down. I think respectfully, Georgia, it's a lot closer than what people think. They lost a lot of talent to the draft. I appreciate it. I think this game's a lot closer than people think. I think Kirby's smart offensively. He's a defensive, coach, but offensively, Stetson Bishop coming back. I think that kind of showed us, they're not really too confident offensively.
How was yours? Good? You done?
A lot of guys going to the
take it
draft. I just think that game's a lot closer. I still don't think Tennessee's going to go into Sanford Stadium and get the win. I think it's like a 34-31. That's going to be the heartbreak of the year for the Vols. I think Georgia, defending national champions, it's hard to predict the win over them, but me and Juice are dying. But I think it's a close game, but we're not there yet, Juice.
I'm gonna pass the mic.
Boy!
Good God.
Oh my
It
God!
might be the hottest hot one you ever had in my life.
Woo!
I'm gonna give me a break right now. I'm gonna let y'all take it.
So Missouri. Moving right along.
All right. Going into November 12th, Missouri, last home game in Neyland. Crowd is stoked. We're doing well overall, I think. Missouri, though, last year, if we're looking at last year, they got some points on us for sure. I think they were late in the season. I don't want any injuries, but I'm assuming we're going to have a couple key guys out, at this point. So I'm going to assume that they get some points on the board, a fair amount, but we're still going to get the dub. We're going to win 55-24. I think we start out early. It's kind of a little battle. Tennessee pulls away late. So, yeah, 55-24 Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll certainly have injuries going into this game for sure. Probably a couple key starters out, probably in the secondary. But they have an unsettled situation at quarterback with Brady Cook and Sam Horn. And, defense has talent on the edge, but it was one of the worst defenses in America last year. I just think we're going to have too much depth and talent on them to be able to run the ball against them. I got balls 63-20.
So my boys on the other end are still recovering. Don't worry, I got you. I'll talk a little bit. I think Missouri led by Eli Norquist. I'm sorry, y'all. This show is just like completely gone.
It's so funny.
Somewhere where we didn't know that it was going, but we're just going to kind of ride the wave. Thinking that we beat Missouri the same way that we did. Assuming the double cup. The way that we beat Missouri
Get it all
last
over his
season,
cup.
it's not the same way that we can beat them this year, but I do still think that Dorkwitz does not have a good team down there in Missouri. Since they went to the SEC championship game, they have been a solid 42-43. Missouri has been supremely average, and I just think that the ball's running there. Or I guess, we're at home. We win 42-21. We just kind of coast. I don't know if you ready. Okay, go ahead.
Man, if you're a grown man and you come in here and hit those leads, bro, like, you got it, bro. You got it. I don't know, bro. That's different, dude.
I don't know what's going on.
No, I think this game, Missouri, I don't think it's an easy game. I think we'll still take it serious. Like last year, you saw 63 points on Missouri in St. Louis. They're coming to Neyland this time around. Eli Drinkowitz making the funny comments about
It's Missouri.
Yeah. In the class, kind of, joking around with this program. I think regardless of Tyon Evans or not, running for like 300 yards last year, that rush defense, they're just not there yet. And I think this is easy a win, 63-7 Tennessee. Big win for the SEC. Coming off that after the Georgia game.
63-7.
Yeah,
I had to repeat that for the record.
If you drop the Georgia game, right, I just think this isn't a staff that's going to take your life the next week. They're going to come out from a point, 63-7, Tennessee win that game.
All right. Who's
You want the
next?
mic? All right. You still drinking some water now?
Hey, man, just Tennessee, man. You just said that, keep Missouri like Missouri like Missouri.
Yeah.
I wasn't going out by myself, man.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing it.
You're fine.
Man, I'm dead.
Told me I had to put the mic down.
Sweating. It's crazy. I don't even know.
It was Missouri. You ain't got to worry much.
Yeah, Missouri will. Yeah, I can't stand either. So that's like you did last year, man.
Steve from Hangover.
Kill them. Give me some more.
All right.
Gosh.
Locked in on that. All right, did everyone roll? You gave
Yeah, no,
Missouri?
we're good.
All right,
South
we're
Carolina.
done. All right, on to South Carolina. Late, meaningful game for sure. Any other team in the past decade would probably shit the bed on this one under their previous coaches. I think everyone can attest to that.
Agreed.
But under Coach Heupel, they do not. They prevail. Tennessee wins 51-20. I'm so sick of the national media thinking that South Carolina is going to do anything with this rat trap. That's ridiculous at this point. We get a couple losses that were probably expected in the season, but we turned around and we do not screw up this time. So I think this will be a banger for this team.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to bring the water back, that I'm recovered over here. This South Carolina game.
Right.
I don't know what you are.
Oh, man, those things are something else, man. If Juice is crying, I have a respectable reason to cry. If Juice Davis is crying,
Grown men cry, bro. Grown men.
So I think, I agree. Spencer Rattler, he's not in. I just think, Oklahoma, Tennessee, a big competition. Caleb Williams. took over that role at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley took him to the USC. But obviously, if Spencer Rattler could get the job done at Oklahoma, coming to South Carolina the same end of the guy that was celebrating being down 38-7 in the second quarter with his hands held high. I just don't think that South Carolina has a chance, even if it is in South Carolina. And Bush improved to beat South Carolina. I don't think that Beamer's going to get one up on Josh Heupel. I truly don't see it. I think this offense goes in there and rolls, and Williams Rice gets the job done. I'll say 38-24 Tennessee. Respectfully, I just don't think South Carolina has it. And all they have is a quarterback, and they don't have no weapons. Respectfully.
I mean, I think this is.
Much respect to me, man. Shane Beamer was on staff when I was at UT my first year. Yeah, Shane worked in he worked with special teams. He worked with the running backs for a little bit. So a lot of respect for that guy, man. Really cool, really good coach. And I knew he was going to be a big coach one day. So much respect to him. Also, we got Montario Hardesty is on the staff as well. Some other VFLs on the staff as well. So always a lot of respect to South Carolina. But we got to think about South Carolina. So we got to come out dominant, understand what goal is in the season, got to finish out strong, make a statement, put up 40 points. And, let's get ready to finish this thing out on a good note. So, like I said, man, South Carolina, they don't have what we have. We're top 10 offense in the country for a reason. We should be the top 25 team in the country. But, Tennessee, we always get somebody who hated on us at the last minute. And if you look what we have coming back, we are a top 25 football program. If they got Kentucky right before us, it's a shame.
Man.
It's an absolute shame. So that's just extra motivation going into the season.
I know Drew will have his excuses, but going back to the top 25 program, I'm just saying, Drew's Houston, Kentucky, some other teams like Utah, Houston, whatever. They don't deserve to be in the top 25.
Preseason top 25. I don't want to make a mess. What they did last year. I mean,
We all agreed like Kentucky's overrated, but they won the Citrus Bowl last year. But we're not even talking about the Kentucky game here. I don't know why we're talking about preseason top 25 when we were talking about the South Carolina game. But back to the main topic here.
Because these boys have eaten these wings that threw them in a tailspin.
No
They
kidding.
have no idea what's happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This man Juice is making money on the You're making money on the show.
We're on the QVC network right now. Juice Davis is displaying all of his
I think this is a much improved South Carolina football team. I mean, they're adding a very good quarterback under Spencer Rattler. I mean, as inconsistent as he was last year, he's still one of the more talented quarterbacks in the conference. But they have the worst pass rush in the SEC. They have a great pass defense, but it doesn't really necessarily matter when you can run the ball over them. I got the Vols winning 41-17.
I'm just going to argue the fact that you said a very good quarterback. Watch out, you still in the hands. So, if he couldn't get it done at Oklahoma with the Swiss cheese defense of the Big 12 and nothing but stud wide receivers, I don't know what's improving with him switching to South Carolina and the Swiss cheese defenses in the SEC. But all I'm saying is that y'all are right. South Carolina is getting better. They're buying into whatever Beamer's selling, especially when they're selling season tickets at Costco or wherever it was. But it does not matter. The Vols win 38-21.
I dig it. And it wasn't like full on season tickets, but they have like a
But
package.
they did have tickets.
No, they have tickets literally at the Costco. Like, we suck so bad. Get your Costco membership over here. Come please attend our games. We're so bad. It's a great deal. And in fact, as UT fans, we could buy those tickets and get the food. We could reap the winnings on food. Get these food vouchers. So if you do want to go to Costco for the South Carolina UT game, we just pay them. We get all the free freaking food that we want, and we beat their ass.
I mean, you're talking about free parking, all you can eat food for $90 to choose 2 games you can sell for $10 in AC Fall, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Deal of the year. Costco rocks.
Deal of the year.
We're talking to you, Ronnie. I know you can hear us. We're talking to you right now. Pay for the expenses. Just get us a corpus at this point, you know?
All right, I'm going to come to the conclusion, which isn't. I know they're like our sister up here, but we got Vandy Candy, November 26th, away in Nash Vegas. Tennessee wins 56-10. I'm not going to say much. It's a last season blowout, end of the season blowout. I think we're fine. Balls get it done. There's no room for worry with this team and with this coach.
What was the score, Low? 56-10.
56-10. Put it down.
Let's be honest. Got it. This team, this Vandy team was, lucky last year to get that Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Me and my mama there, on the Tennessee sideline.
I have an audience member saying ridiculous remarks out here. That Vandy is going to be 28-21.
Oh, yeah, there's no shot. But, that Hail Mary, stupid. I just think there's no way we go into Nashville and lose this game, bro. There's no way we go, like last year, no one really came to that game, Thanksgiving. A lot of Tennessee fans are from Nashville. I think, we'll orange out that, Nashville Stadium. There's no way we don't beat this team, 56-3, 56-13. I just don't think that Mike Wright's an SEC quarterback. I don't think Clark Lee's an SEC head coach. And I think Vanderbilt's just not a relevant SEC program, man. I don't know. I'm sorry, but it's going to take a lot more than a defensive coordinator from Notre Dame to revive the Vanderbilt football program. And, James Franklin was the best chance, and we saw what he went and did. I just think Vanderbilt's.
Yeah. Vanderbilt's Vanderbilt, man. I ain't losing to nobody that can't even get 100 people at a spring game.
Man, I said.
So I got some respect for Vanderbilt because I got a good buddy of mine that coaches over there, but that's about it. But the only time I really had some thought into Vanderbilt was when James Franklin was there. Other than that, no. Treat them like
family.
Treat them like the little. It's worse than a step brother, step sister, and just stomp all on them, man. Make them ever want to even compete against us again. Think about Jawan Jennings that game. What he said about Vanderbilt. Play that. Play that sound clip before the game. Lock into what he said, and that's how you play. He gave you the commandment of how you treat Vanderbilt. And that's how we treated Vanderbilt, and that's how you're supposed to treat Vanderbilt. So, I'm not worried about Vanderbilt, man. I know we'll do our thing against them, and we'll be looking forward to playing in a good bowl game.
I think, you should respect every opponent that you play on the schedule, but this team deserves zero respect. This is the same team that lost 23-0 to East Tennessee State at home.
I was about to say that.
They're worse than Ball State. They're worse than Akron. They're arguably worse than UT Martin, quite honestly. Vols are going to win 62-20, and that's only because we're going to have the walk-ons on there by the fourth quarter. That's why they're going to get 20 points.
So wait, I do have a question. Brandon, do you want 56-3 or 56-13?
No, it's in Nashville. I'll give them a respect. I think Tennessee, puts their fourth stringers in, by the fourth quarter. I think maybe Mike Wright or that new quarterback, AJ Swan, maybe they score a touchdown, but yeah, I guess I'll say 56-13 respectfully.
All right, 56-13.
Brando, I didn't even know this was backwards at this point, but we have fourth stringers at this point.
I know it's crazy after last year, seeing the depth we have, but let me tell you, the NIL front and everything else that Tennessee, targeting the transfer portal with the freshmen. Let me tell you, they do have some depth back there now, otherwise than last year. Let me tell you, there's some incoming freshmen that can give you 15 to 25 plays. And so, believe it or not, we have fourth stringers.
Honestly, if you tell me we got it through NIL, then I believe every word that you said.
I
have no reason to argue with you.
Look at the man right there smiling, man. Look at that man right there smiling. That man right there.
He knows.
You know the
nuts from Brando. That's a lot.
That guy's out there grinding every day.
But Vandy went 2-10 last season. They laid a goose egg in the win column at conference. That's really all there is to say. Vols win 45-14. I give them 2 pity touchdowns. I'm sorry. I apologize. I do apologize. But 45-14, final answer. Lock it in.
All right, lock it in. So, Alex, do you have a fair record of where each of us are at this point?
I do.
All
Lowe sits at 9-3.
Okay.
Brando sits at 10-2. Drew sits at 9-3, and I sit at 9-3. Juice also sits at 10-2.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. So
Me and Juice ride them
based off of first off win-loss predictions, but also then tiebreakers, that will determine who gets our punishment. That was determined by our Twitter poll.
So our Twitter poll, we had a few wild punishments out here. Most of them were thrown out to us by our listeners.
How many
And
people
I
on
have
Twitter?
the right one
So
written
what?
on this
I mean,
paper.
how many people y'all got
Correct?
listening on Twitter?
Like
You do.
20 plus,
Okay.
something like that.
So
Plus the YouTube too.
I don't think Juice is going to participate in this unless that's new information. We'll find that out later. But as far as the punishment goes, it's locked in between us for the original Vols ATV squad. And the punishment is the loser of this prediction at the end of the season has to go on a full, hour and a half long date with a blow up doll. So that's what it is. It'll probably be here, I imagine. So come take all your videos and everything else.
Also, let me go ahead and say we did have a prediction poll on who people thought was going to lose. Coming in last place as people who thought would not lose, me and Brando had a tie. In a very close second place was Drew, and Lowe received almost 50% of the votes to lose.
Yeah,
I'm going
I am
on a date
locked
with a
in.
blow-up
I'm
doll.
locked in at 9-3, man. I'm locked in at 9-3. And if I do have to wine and dine that blow up doll, I'm gonna do it well. I'm gonna do it well.
Respectfully, I'm not going out in public at all. I know you love what Drew said you could. I know it might cause a few problems with Drew over there, but respectfully, I just don't see us. I'm not going to be the one to go on a date in public with a blow-up doll. No, I promise you that.
Like, you didn't want to do the Waffle House challenge, so you're 1,000% dating the blow-up doll.
Yeah, but
That is
I'm
a
not
given.
losing the competition. Drew. We're not losing the quota, so I don't have to worry about us losing the competition. So
You do have to worry about the overall 10-2 steep prediction that you had.
Yeah, but I've learned one thing through the night, and that's like if you ride with Juice Davis, you have someone on your side to take the pain with you. So if I take the L, I take the L, but I don't want to be at a cash register at my work with a blow up ball. That's one thing I don't want to do respectfully. But a harsh punishment, I think Tennessee, we're going to make the jump. And, if Tennessee's going to get back to that top notch and start to beat Florida and start to compete with teams like Georgia and Alabama, get a win over a team like LSU. And, we saw all these second-year head coaches, they make that jump. And I've said it week after week after week on the podcast show. Tennessee has everything in place to make that jump, and as long as they, put it on the field and practice up to it, 10-2 is very much on the table. Do y'all want to hop into the bowl game prediction kind of thing?
I think we've ran out of time. Yeah, we ran out of time. We have ran over. We have had this hot wings and everything else.
The table's a mess.
Yeah, table's a disaster. But just want to thank Skybox, our official new sponsor, for letting us out here tonight. I want to thank Jabari, Juice, as I call him, Davis, wherever the hell he's at. I want to thank
Where the
him
fuck
for
is Juice
coming out.
Probably out selling something.
Probably making more money on them sales. I want to give him a massive shout out for coming out. Awesome guy. Got a lot of good things going on over there with Legends of Tennessee. And yeah, we've had an awesome time. I really don't think I can say any more. Until next time, I don't think anything can top this, but good night, go Vols.
Yes.